their humanness beautiful. And that's what I'm hoping that we can get out of this class is how can we be as beautifully human as we can possibly be, and how can we appreciate others for their humanness too. Okay, there's a lot. I know I'm kind of lecturing here, but I do this for a reason. I really want you to start understanding the reason for why I have these readings out there. It might kind of seem like a lot, and you're like, oh, whoa there, Barongo. Chill your horses a little bit, because I don't know what's going on. So that's why I have as many readings as I do. You're going to start to see that they coincide and work together for a reason, okay? There's a rhyme and reason for why I do all the things that I do. Okay, we're going to do the next slide, which is going to be on the literacy crisis. You're going to see in the quiz, I want you to put your own responses to what is Williams trying to say? What is the literacy crisis? Okay? The truth is, there is no crisis. Ta-da! All right, so there's an answer to your quiz right there. So the reason why we say this is when you read the Spencer and Marlowe readings, those are supposed to be considered, oh, Edmund Spencer, and Marlowe, these guys are amazing writers. They're fantastic. They're beautiful. But when you read them, you're like, they misspelled this, they misspelled that, and they misspelled this. And none of those things make any sense to me, okay? I would love you to take a moment and go through the Spencer and Moreau readings and read them out loud and try and figure out what the fuck are they trying to say. It kind of gives it away in the pictures for Spencer's thing, and then Marlowe, it's one of my favorite poems, even though it's not like considered today's the best kind of poem because of all the rhyming and stuff. But the idea behind it is I want you to see how has literacy changed over time? We still consider Edmund Spencer to be just this incredible writer. This is fantastic. Oh, love it, right? Or even Shakespeare, which actually was pop culture garbage in his time because he made up a shit ton of words. Half the words we use nowadays is because, Shakespeare just made that up. He's like, I don't know how to explain it. Here's a word. And so now we use it. Okay? So now we consider, oh, Shakespeare. It's so eloquent. It's so fantastic. And in the end, it's like, it was just like pop culture garbage. It'd be like saying Yeezy's like, the next Shakespeare. Though, while he is crazy, he does have some brilliant, undertones in some of his work, but we'll talk about that later, right? But that's me going, hey, there is value in words. There is value in language. So when we talk about literacy, we think about, like your parents, how many times your parents go, you don't know how to read Latin, you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do that? You're incredibly illiterate. But then when you go on social media and your parents are struggling trying to figure it out, going, I don't know, I don't know what this is. What the hell is TikTok? Right? Like, my parents, oh my God, they're so not literate. Right? So there's different ways in which you can be literate, whether it's through computers, whether it's through actual writing or, video games. There's all these different ways of understanding what is literacy. This book is written in Pidgin Creole. And if she turned in a paper written just like this, would she have passed the class? Probably not, because the teacher's like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is not what I asked for. But she has she has multiple books out. This is brilliant. It's one of my favorite books of all time. I love it, okay? But she would not be considered well written if she turned in that type of paperwork in her class, right? There has to be an understanding of why she used what she used. Anyway, so context, I should put that as a vocabulary word because it absolutely is necessary when it comes to writing as well. What's the context? Who's the audience? Who are you writing for? And that right there is when we start to understand when we talk about proper English or improper English or whatever the hell, pidgin or ebonics, whatever kind of ways in which we speak, we have to think, how are we writing to who? Okay, when you think about writing to like your parents, right, when you send a text, okay, you're pretty decent. You probably don't throw out too many cuss words. I don't know your relationship with your parents, but for me, I don't really cuss around my parents because they scold me for it. But whatever, mom and dad. All right, same thing with my brother. I don't know why he's so adamant about me not using the word fuck, but whatever. Okay, so when we also think about social media, writing essays for school, writing emails to your parents, writing emails to me, or writing to your friends, every single one of those has a different way in which we use language. For some reason, when it comes to academics, people go, hey, I don't want to do this, and they freak out and they get way in their head, and then it just doesn't work for them. And I'm going to try and help you in ways in which you can write without freaking out and worrying that I'm going to scold you for stuff, because the only thing I'm ever going to scold you for is not turning something in on time and not revising your paper. That's it. That's the only thing I'm ever going to be pissed about. All right. Your writing in the end, as long as you're consistently doing the practice and doing the rough drafts, you yourself are going to get something incredible out of this class. But it's up to you, not up to me. Okay. All right. So there are certain things that I will have FYI. I'll be like, can you do the following things, and you're good. Okay. There's always going to be, something that I'll ask of you. You just do it and it's done, right? And you can be as creative as you need to be. Okay, so anyway, literacy. Think about, the reason why words are so incredibly powerful is because sometimes no words or little words are the most voluminous, like they say the most. Have you ever gotten a text and you ask someone a thing, or you got a big old discussion, or you do a thing like you have a conversation with someone and they respond, K period. K period. Oh, you're either in a shit ton of trouble, or they're mad, or they're annoyed. That K period. It was a letter with one punctuation, and it said so much. It spoke volumes, right? So there's a lot of times when sometimes just the littlest of words have the biggest connotation, right? Anyway, that's literacy. We're able to see that letter K with that period and all go, ooh, that's not good. They pissed. They're really pissed, right? So we know how to read that. If you sent it to your parents, would they have that same understanding? If you sent it to Nana, you're like, hey, Nana, K. Nana doesn't, first of all, Nana doesn't care if you're mad at her. Second of all, she's like, can you please tell me what you're trying to say here? If Nana even texts. I don't know. I don't have a Nana right now. So anyway. So these are things that I do want you to consider when it comes to writing, especially when we start talking about our narrative. How are we communicating? How have you communicated? What ways do you get your point across? Do you do the K with the period because you know it's going to piss someone off or scare them? Right? LOL, right? It doesn't mean, what is the LOL? I know